All right, what's up, everybody? We're back. Another episode of Against the Ropes. We have some special guests here joining us, right? We have some good friends here.
Yeah, some good friends. Sports journalist and a good friend of mine is Mr. Daryl Wilson.
What up? What
welcome,
up?
welcome.
What up?
You know what? Let me hit him with the clap. Let me hit him with the clap.
And the one and only Mr. Chalo Gonzalo
Hey, what's up, man?
from
What's
the
up?
Wolf Pack.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. So we got here because it's a special episode. Something we probably don't like to talk about, right? We had that Nipsey episode. And that was tough to
That
get
was tough.
through. And seems like we're back here again.
Yeah. No, this one is tough. Man, we'll talk about how we heard the news, I guess, first. I'll start with our story. We were in
Yeah.
Vegas this weekend, having a good time. Coming back Sunday, we're barely getting on the road, right?
Barely.
Barely getting on the
Barely
road.
getting on the road.
And I thought that the road back was gonna be the same way we went into Vegas. Four friends of ours. You know, you were with your girl. One of our
Yeah.
good friends is just like roasting me the whole time there. We're just having a good time. It's a fun time.
Yeah, we had gotten breakfast from Jack.
Yeah. Mhm.
All right, we were heading back, tired, cool. I had a beer on me. I was like, cool, I'm going to just take a chill on the way back.
Yeah. And so I'm expecting like that same drive back. Like, okay, here we go again with our friend, like about to roast me. And so he is roasting me for a good 10 minutes into the road.
The norm.
The norm. And then he comes and he's the one that gives us the news. Hey guys, check this out. Like, and he shows us like Kobe's dead. And I'm right there. I'm like, he's a jokester of the group. So I'm like, this is probably
You know
a
what?
hoax.
I heard him say something about Kobe, but I didn't hear what it was.
Uh-huh.
And I just hear my brother who was driving, he just said no.
Yeah.
And then he just said no again. And I'm like, I heard Kobe. And my brother just looked serious. So I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't even want to ask, like,
Mm-hmm.
what it was.
Yeah. So I was like in denial too, as many people were.
I didn't look at my phone for an hour.
Yeah.
I didn't want to know anything.
Yeah. Us as, I'm sure Daryl, you saw it as journalists, we see like that the source is TMZ, so we're like, nah, we're gonna wait for a more credible source. Like, this is probably like a mistake. That's what you wanted to believe. That's what I wanted to believe. Like, this is a mistake. Like, this isn't, you know.
Yeah.
And so,
It actually took a while for them to confirm that the news was Kobe, right? Like, it was a cool minute where people were like, we're not sure. We know his plane went down. So there was still like maybe 15 minutes after the news broke that people were still like, you know, we're all on our phones. I know I was hanging out at the house with my girl, and I think Christian sent a message to all of us. And then another friend, and my phone just starts getting blown up left and right. I'm like, no way. My girl comes out in the living room. She's like, hey, did you hear the news? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't believe it. And then somebody else was like, he might have not been in the helicopter. So, you know, for like the next 30 minutes, it was just suspense.
yeah.
You know, disbelief. You know, doubt. Like everybody felt. You know, I think since that day, the vibe around LA has been very, like, just sad. You know, very quiet. Like, you know, it's a really hard thing to like have sink in. And yeah, that's what I was doing during that time. You know.
And you were there too. And we'll talk about it later. You were there Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Sunday night at Staples, but we can get into that
yeah,
a
we'll
little
get into
later.
this, like,
Yeah.
It's like I'm sad as hell right now. I'm just trying to put the words together on exactly what happened. I was laying on the couch, damn near sleeping with my baby girl. You know, I got a 9-month-old baby girl, and my 5-year-old boy, he's in the other room watching Lion King. Like normally, I'm watching TV. You know what I mean? But as far as a sports fan goes, sports journalist, like this was basically an off week. You know, there weren't any major basketball games on at the time. There was some college basketball games. There was no football, no football preview. You know, this is the off week from the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I get a phone call from my wife. You know, I'm like, oh, no, be quiet. You know, the baby sleep. Like, what do you want? Right? And she was like, did you hear that TMZ report that Kobe died in a helicopter crash? And like you said, TMZ, like the way that media has transformed over the last few years, it's really like TMZ has become one of the most reliable sources
It has.
now.
Yeah.
So she
Now,
used those words, TMZ and Kobe helicopter crash. Like, I just hung up the phone on her, dude. Like I wasn't like what or nothing. I just hung up the phone on her, and like my heart dropped. Open up my phone, check Twitter, see who else is talking about this.
Yeah.
Then I saw all this different stuff going down my timeline, dude. I was like, oh my God. Like, I started crying, like, right then and there.
Oh, wow.
And I just grabbed my baby girl, just held her tighter. I was like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't believe this, man. Because, like, I was talking to you about this before you started recording, Christian. I'm 10 months older than Kobe Bryant. And basically, it's like somebody that is very relatable to me. We're the same age. And when I graduated high school, he came out of high school the next year. And my whole adulthood, you know, we basically traveled the same path. You know what I mean? Made the same young mistakes. It's just hard, man. It's very hard. It's a very hard thing to deal with. You know, like people compare this to like when Michael Jackson died. And those like, this is like my thing. Like, I've never ever felt like this since like Nipsey Hussle was the last person, and he was probably the first person as far as celebrities go,
Same.
that like I felt like a deep feeling when they passed. You know, like this is awful, man. It's gonna take a long time to get over this one.
And one of the reasons I didn't want to keep looking at my phone was because it seemed like it was just getting worse and worse. Like once, I mean, people threw Rick Fox, his name in there, and then you start hearing about the family. I remember one thing that I read was that the whole family was on the helicopter, and you're just like, what the hell? And then they confirmed that it was one of his daughters on the helicopter, and it was just kind of getting worse and worse.
It was a whirlwind of news, man, and just false reports that came out.
Yeah.
You know, especially like the one you said about his whole entire family
Yeah.
was on there. You know, that was the absolute worst thing. You know.
And to me, I think it would have hurt, but just to know that his daughter was on there too, I think that's when it really hit like, damn. Because you think about his family, his wife, his other daughters, and you lose two family members at the same time, basically.
The situation is very relatable in the sense that as growing up as a public figure, growing up in our eyes, his work ethic, like if you can't relate to him as a basketball player or as a like the person he was in the community, like he's very relatable as a father. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how many times have you been in a situation as a dad? I'm a dad. I got kids. You know, like you don't want to go out anywhere. You're tired. You know, you want to just stay home and relax. But you know, your kids ask you for something, and that strength comes out of nowhere. You know, and you know, for someone to pass in this kind of situation like that, you know, it's like, I guess the hardest part about it for me is that he was on the second part of his book. You know what I'm saying? He wrote such a beautiful story leading up to this moment, and he was ready to write the second part. And I guess the part that hurts the most, we'll never know. You know, that's gonna stay empty. That's something that we'll never get to hear or listen or read. And you know, that to me personally is what hurts the most.
He died being a good dad, man.
Yeah.
Like that's, you know, if it comes down to it, you know, to keep it real, like that's the reason he died is because he was being a good dad. You know, he's flying a helicopter because he wanted to maximize every single minute of the day. He didn't want to waste any time at all. You know, he left his kids. He was at church that morning, you know, and he called a helicopter flight because he wanted to get to practice with his daughter. Just being a good dad, like that's the reason why he died. Like that's not to say don't be a good dad. Like that's
Moral of the
that's
story.
not saying that, you know. That's not what we're saying at all, man. But he was doing what he does best. You know, like you said, you know, it's the second part of his book. He was the best basketball player. You know what I mean? Now he wants to be the best dad.
Yeah. And you know that's a guy that puts 110%.
In everything.
Everything. Dude.
Everything.
Like I think that day when we went down to downtown LA, I think it was as soon as you guys told us, it was like an hour after that happened. Like all my guys were just like, "Hey man, we got to get ready. We're going. Get ready. Let's head out there." And you know, we suited up and we got ready and we all met up and we headed out to downtown LA. And I mean, dude, the whole drive there, it was so unreal. Like it was so like crazy because it felt like I was like, dude, everybody was saying it. Like, I want to wake up. I want to wake up any minute. We're gonna wake up, and this is gonna be over. Our whole drive there was just, retelling stories, like from people that knew all the stats, from people that knew like what school he went to, knew the whole story, knew everything, and then like the other versions where it's like, I didn't watch the games like religiously, and I can't sit here and talk stats with you. But for me, it was always a reason to meet up with my boys. It was when I moved to Utah, living here in LA for like my whole life, it always gave me a reason to like hold my head up high every time there was a sports talk. It's like, oh yeah, like where are you from, man? And, I'm like, oh, I'm from LA, and they're like, and then I was in Utah for like a year, and they were just like, fucking for real, like like we can't even talk shit to you or nothing like that, because I'm like he's put us on our ass so many times, and I'm just like, yeah, good luck with that. He gave you a reason to like hold your, puff up your chest everywhere you went, and like these are things that I'm sure that guy never even thought about when he was doing what he was doing. He was just a hard competitor. He knew how to turn it on and everything, and you could apply that mentality and that kind of work ethic to everything in your life.
Yeah, for me, it's like he was our guy. He's like local. He's LA based. He was our dude. He's the one that we grew up, as 6, 7, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds from AUGO. Like, this is like, we had limited channels growing up. We had like KCAL 9, Channel 7, 5. So we saw him on TV. And I was talking to Daryl about it. Like, us as young kids, we're naturally rebellious. We're boys. We're like, loquitos. And we saw like a little bit of Kobe, when we saw him out there. He was cocky, but he was good. He could back it up. And he was always bringing it. And so we kind of wanted to be in a way like Kobe. We wanted to be just as good, maybe perhaps not in basketball, but in our own sport, soccer, or like, I don't know, and maybe in the classroom. We just wanted to always be like the best, because we saw how much people admired you when you excelled and when you were the best in a particular like sport or field. And so for me, I was like, I get nostalgia. I'm wearing the 8 because that's when I got the shirt. They're like, what do you want, 24 or 8? I'm like, 24 is dope. It's now. But I was like, I remember him as a child. Like, he was the first one. When you're searching out heroes, this one was the one that was just kind of put in front of you, and you were just like, this Kobe's cool. You remember the fro. You just remember your childhood memories, just being, glued to the TV and just seeing him do his thing. And us as like a Latino, like if you fit the stereotype, you're not supposed to like basketball. You're supposed to like soccer, and you're just supposed to like boxing and stuff.
That's where I was gonna go with it.
But for some reason,
we love soccer too.
Yes, but for some reason, I was like, I like this sport. I already knew I was like, I'm never gonna be this top. But I was like, I love this sport is dope. This sport is so cool. Why? Because he makes it seem so cool. And so like, yeah, you just fall in love with the action of the sport. For me, it was like I fell in love with the sport because of Kobe, per se.
Same. I mean, like you said, like as long as you can remember, it was soccer in my house and it was boxing, right? Nobody ever watched basketball, but when Kobe made basketball cool for me and the Lakers and they started winning, I was like, that's my favorite athlete, even over the soccer guys that I used to watch every weekend. Like, he was the number one guy. And that's how myself and my brother got into it. I remember playing Kobe Bryant's Nintendo 64 game, NBA courtside. That's like 98. Sitting there playing in my Nintendo, and I played that game for years. And Kobe was like the face. Even when Shaq was there, to me, I was always related more to Kobe. Like, say, he liked soccer, right? He even spoke Spanish, right? He was like the little rebel kid with skill. He was just, it was kind of like everything you wanted to admire in a person. That's what he was for me.
I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. When Kobe entered the league, like, I kind of didn't like him at first, and I'm gonna tell you why. Like I said, like, we're the same age, and it's hard to like look at somebody that's younger than you. He's barely younger than me. It's hard to look at somebody that's younger than you, and be like, oh man, like, he's the best, like, he's the great. So
he's already doing all this.
I grew up.
See, it was easy for us because we were 5, 6 years old, and we're like, look, this guy's a monster.
I grew up a Michael Jordan fan.
Okay.
Right, and to me, like, all the way up until like my mid-20s, Michael Jordan was absolute like God figure. Like, I grew up playing basketball. You know what I mean? He was just like my favorite athlete of all time. So Kobe came into the league, and although he's playing for my team, the Lakers, like, I'm like, oh man, look at this guy, man, trying to be like Jordan.
Trying to be like,
Like, look at this guy trying to be like Jordan. Like, I'm hating. Oh, he's on my team, my favorite team. Like, this guy's trying to be like Jordan. Like, oh man.
And I'm gonna stop you real quick because that's how I felt about Cristiano Ronaldo. Because my hero was Ronaldo, the Brazilian one.
I love Ronaldo.
Right. So when I saw Cristiano Ronaldo, I'm like, that's not Ronaldo.
That's not Ronaldo.
Ronaldo's the other one. I feel you on that.
Yeah,
You know.
man. So like, Mike was just my guy, and like, Michael Jordan has always been the standard bearer, right, of basketball. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, we could debate this to the end of the world, like who's the greatest. And I'm always going to tell you, as far as like being the greatest, Mike is still the greatest, right? Because he was the best at everything that he does, right? Kobe emulated him. He learned from him. He learned from a lot of different players. But as the years went on, the early years, even after he won the slam dunk contest, I'm like, oh man, like look at him trying to be like Jordan. like winning the slam dunk contest. And you know, then he airballed, like, oh man, like look at this guy. Like Michael never airball. You know what I mean? But then you start to learn about how hard he worked, right? And you saw the progression of him getting better and better and better every year. And the moment where like he truly gained my respect as a fan, as somebody who could stand up and who could hold the candle to Mike, was the second championship run, right? They had already won one championship. The second championship run when the Lakers were playing against San Antonio, right? And Kobe just basically took over that whole series by himself. Like, they were D'ing up Shaq, right? Shaq wasn't taking care of business. Like, Greg Popovich had the defense out to stop Shaq because they figured, like, if you could stop Shaq, you beat the Lakers. Yeah. Wrong, buddy. Kobe averaged like 30-something points that series. He was very Mike-like, dunking on Robinson. I said, God damn, like, you got to give this dude his props. Like, pass the torch, Shaq. Like, let him take over. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, I saw it like, this is Kobe's team now. You know, like, move over, Shaq, just chill. Yeah. At that moment right there, I was like, you know what? He's going to be the best player in this league, hands down. And ever since then, like, to me, like, you couldn't say anything basketball-wise about Kobe to me, you know, because he worked hard at what he did, and no matter what, like, he added something to his game every single year. He added something different, you know, like, this is against the ropes, right?
Yep.
You know, Kobe was big. He was a big fan of martial arts, right? So I was watching a video one day, the other day, like, that was his secret to being a good basketball player, because in the off season, he studied this martial arts called, I'm gonna screw up the name, Jeet Kune Do. I don't know if you heard of that. Jeet Kune Do was what Bruce Lee did, right? So the guy who taught Kobe Jeet Kune Do learned his craft from Bruce Lee, and it's a form of martial arts that's offensive, not defensive, where like you just attack first, right? And that's what Kobe, he applied that to his game. Like, he's just a student of the game. What can I do to get better? Every year, he got better.
That's right.
Choking.
Choking.
We're all choked up over this, man. We're all choked up.
Sorry.
Yeah, man. And so, like, he was larger than life, man. He was larger than life, man. Let me tell you just a quick story. 2014, 2015, I just started, I came back to school. I was here at Cal State Dominguez. And I was covering the Lakers and Clippers, you know, as a journalist that entire season, right? 2014, 2015 season. That was towards like the end of Kobe's run. You know, he had just started facing injuries and whatnot. He was taking days off. And, you know, I covered the Lakers the entire season. At the end of the games, you went in the locker room and everybody had the microphones and stuff to his face. I was always scared. I was always scared to ask him a question, say something to him. Always. Every single time. You know what I mean? I'm like, you know what? I'll get my chance. Like, I gotta be there first, and like I gotta think of something, you know, smart to say. Because like you got national TV, like everybody's gonna listen to what you say. You know what I mean? So you don't want to be that guy that says something dumb and screws up.
I hate these fucking reporters.
So the Cleveland Cavs came to town, and that's when LeBron had just came back to Cleveland. And they played that night. Kobe had 17 assists, but that was his career high night. He had 17 assists. But leading up to the game, like, he'd been taking days off, hurt and whatnot. So at the end of the game and post game, we're sitting in the hallway. We're all just like waiting to get into the locker room to like talk to these players and stuff. And they made an announcement. They said, Kobe's coming to the press room. Kobe never comes to the press room, like, ever. I'm like, oh shoot, like something's going on. So like I walk into the press room first, and I'm sitting there front row. The room is packed. Everybody comes in and like he's asking questions. He's talking about playing through injuries. I'm like, oh shit, like this guy's gonna retire. Now this wasn't the day he announced that he was gonna retire, because he announced that the next season.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting there and he's just like, oh man, I'm slowing down. I said, saying to myself, Daryl, dude, like you gotta ask him a question. Like you don't know you don't know when you're gonna get your chance. In a press conference, anybody could get their turn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you just start talking, fire off a question. I'm just sitting there like, man, like what are you gonna ask him? What are you gonna ask him? Like, so I sat there, I was like, oh, and my heart's beating. Yeah. My heart's just pumping. Yeah. Then like somebody said something, then it stopped. I go, Kobe. You can check my Instagram page at Spitz Game, and you'll see the video on there. I go, Kobe, do you think it'll be easier for you to sit out games if the Lakers were winning? And like I got it out. I'm like, yes, I got it. My heart was beating. He looked at me. It was like, oh no. I was like, if the Lakers were winning, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I was like, oh shit, like he just gave me a smart ass answer. It was like it'll be easier for winning, because San Antonio sits their players all the time. Like it'll be easier. Like no, it wouldn't be easy. Like we're losing. Like I'm trying to win games. And like it was over, press conference over. Then he walked past me, and I like got up and I walked right behind him, and like everybody's just like flooding out the room, and I yell at him. I'm like, Kobe, and like he turned to look at me. I was like, man, sorry for asking a dumb question. And like he put his hand on my shoulder, and he goes like, man, don't worry about it, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. And like that's the only time I ever like gotten any type of close contact with him. You know what I mean? Like that close. I'm like, oh shit, like oh man, like that was awesome. Like he didn't have to stop and say anything to me. And like I'm just like hanging around behind him, like seeing who he talks to, and like trying to eavesdrop on his conversations and shit, like all sneaky reporters do. Trying to get the scoop on something, man. But like that dude was just larger than life, bro. It's like,
yeah.
I just think about that. I think about that moment now, and I've thought about it over and over. Like that was like the most intense like I ever felt, just like trying to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you could ask Kobe a question, like you could ask anybody a question now. You know what I mean? Like after that, I was just like asking questions like left or right.
I can imagine.
And I feel like that's part of like the Mamba mentality, right?
Yeah.
Like you probably saw it as a failure because you were like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, what was I saying? But that probably made you a better, like you just said, if you can ask Kobe a question, you can ask anybody a question, right?
Exactly.
I think that's part of that mentality that he had.
I think the transition you were talking about from being the guy that you're like, why should I look up to you? You're the same age as I am, and like that. I think for me, what really like I was just like shit, and it happened later on in his career, but where I was just like, I play soccer, that's my sport, and where I was just like, damn, the fucking balls on this dude, like that's fucking badass. Is when he held LA ransom, where he's like, dude, I'm gonna go to another franchise if you guys don't do something. That's the kind of love he had for the city. He was just like, if you don't bring in the right players, if we're not doing the right shit, I'm like, we're wasting our time.
Right.
Like, what kind of, and I was just like, you know what, dude?
And I don't think we were going to be mad at him, honestly.
No, and
I wouldn't have been mad.
And as, as a every, like, I'm like, you can do that? you can tell your boss, like, yo, dude, you need to do better. Like, I'm doing the best I can do. Can you do better? I apply that shit to my job and where I work at right now. And that's the thing I always tell my boss. I'm just like, well, yo, dude, like, you know what? We got this. Like, we can handle this process and everything we've learned. We can do the day-to-day. Now, it's up to you if you want to grow the brand. Like, what are we trying to do with this? Where are we trying to go? Like, what is the direction? Like, I manage a company here in Torrance, and I really look for sports role models as a manager. Like, for me, Sir Alex Ferguson, like, to me, he's an awesome example. Kobe, an awesome example. You know, my boys sometimes will come up to me and they're just like, "Man, you don't do nothing all day. You just sit there and pick up phone calls. That's easy." And I look at them and I'm just like, or they'll talk, you know, they'll talk shit about each other. They'll be like, "Oh, that guy's lazy," or this he can't do shit. And I look at him and I'm like, you know what? We're a team. There's a basketball team. You're a defender.
Everybody has a role.
Yeah, you know how to dunk. You know how to dribble. You know how you could do the no look pass. You could do all this kind of stuff. You know what's gonna happen? My job as your coach, which is what I think as a manager, I feel like a coach. So when I look at him, I'm just like, my job is when it's the fourth quarter, we're down by 2 points. There's
You got to close.
little bit of seconds on there's like 3 seconds. We're gonna pass you the ball. You're gonna dribble. You're gonna take a shot. I know where every single one of you guys needs to be. So when your legs are tired, when your hands are tired, where you don't know what to do, I'm gonna be like, yo, play number 3. You've done this every day. You got this. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what you're gonna go for. And I look to people like Kobe for those kind of things. You know, like I'm like, dude, like you taught me, like you could have the fucking balls to, dude. He held the city ransom. You know, he's like, I'm out, dude. That would have been riots in LA. You know, that shit wouldn't have gone down that easy and stuff like that. Fucking, yeah, hey, that got us more championships, right? That who did we trade
they
for?
got better after that. They traded
exactly.
Kwame Brown and I don't know who else for Paul Gasol.
Yeah.
They traded Paul Gasol's brother.
Mark, there you go, the pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at all that shit, and I'm just like, the lessons he left behind.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like every one of us, you can apply that shit to your life in every way, as a father, as a worker, as a leader, as everything, dude. And that's amazing to me. The footprint this guy left on this world, that impact. A lot of people have been telling me, like, everybody is making this big fuss about Kobe, but nobody cares about anybody else on the helicopters.
Yeah.
And I look at that and I'm like, no, dude, you don't understand. Like, it's not that nobody cares. It's not that nobody gives a shit. It's this guy grew up in the public eye. Like, everybody feels like they know him. That is your boy. Like you've read for him. I've seen you know, people get in fights over this stuff. Like it's not easy, you know. Like that is your boy.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the beautiful thing now that you hear all these stories and that kind of uplifts his legacy, because you know, I mean, everybody has negative stuff, right? Everyone's, oh, he's not a good teammate, but you look at every like young player in the league now that was just devastated and would say, Kobe used to give me advice. He would work out with me when he didn't have to. You know, that's like the best teammate you can have. And just in the NBA, I'm not talking about just the Lakers. Like, he grew the game.
Like about 5 years ago, man, I started this hashtag, right? I started this hashtag specifically for Kobe, right? Because people like used to like talk shit, like this guy's better than him, like LeBron's better than him, or this person's better than him, this person's better than him. I was like, you know what? I was like, Kobe is LeBron's favorite player. I was like, Kobe is Dwayne Wade's favorite player. Kobe is this guy's favorite player. So
all of you guys, Giannis.
So the hashtag
Doncic.
I started is called hashtag your favorite player's favorite player. Hashtag your favorite player's favorite player. And like, he is, it's the truth.
Even the legends. You talk about all these guys. Who was it? Was it Bill Russell that said it? Or I forgot who it was. I think it was Bill Russell. He's like, you know, Kobe always used to say I was his favorite player, but in reality, he was mine.
Yeah.
You know, that's crazy.
That's crazy. To me, it's like you're always gonna have like these ultra talented players. You're gonna have your Dwayne Wades, you know, your LeBrons, but only a certain few really like become larger than life.
He transcended the sport, man.
Yeah.
Like, there's few people that ever transcends like what they do.
Yeah.
Like, Kobe he's bigger than basketball. Like, he sort of is basketball. Like, you look right now, you know what I mean? Like, people who don't even know anything about basketball, like, what do they do when they're throwing away a piece of paper in the trash?
Yep.
Everybody's shouting Kobe.
Yeah.
And like, this has
been
happening for the longest.
Even if you don't know him, you know him.
Yeah, you
worldwide.
know him.
This is in Japan. This is in like Europe, everywhere. You know, it's
Somebody
crazy.
Like, you know, like, I got a text from my sister, and she never watched basketball, and she was just like, no, it can't be Kobe. Like, that was just like, wow.
Yeah, my sister too, dude. My sister too. She sent me like, she doesn't watch basketball either. She doesn't really like sports, but she knows you know, that she's from LA. She knows that we like sports. She's all like, Chris, like Kobe. And I'm like, fuck, like, dude, the impact that he had, it wasn't just basketball. It wasn't just LA. It wasn't just the U.S. It's like everywhere. It was in soccer. You saw AC Milan giving him like respect. It was
Neymar,
like
Neymar, yeah.
Go to him.
yeah.
Every-
Tennis.
Everybody's Instagram page, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Arsenal, everybody posted something about Kobe.
Yeah. And it's just, he's just a guy from LA. He's a guy who grew up like born in Philly. Like he was in LA. He's just one person, but like the impact that his like legacy, like how much it impacted people, and people like us, or us, like we never met him. You know, we never met him, and just like how much he meant and stuff. And I was talking to Daryl about this earlier. It's like he was just so relatable. Also, like outside being a basketball player, like just as a person, as a man, like he's not perfect. No one is. When he had like that drama, like, you know, it just shows like we're not perfect. You know, it's like my hero's not perfect, but you know he can have his downs and he get up and become a better person. And for me personally, that's something I'm striving for, to be a better person. You know,
And I feel like that makes it more relatable even.
Yeah.
Because we don't, like, Superman is perfect. It's just like nobody's perfect, really. Like, none of us are perfect, right? So when you see Kobe, you're like, yeah, he had his flaws. But he was my favorite superhero. I can say that.
Yeah.
And I can say it proudly.
I mean, anybody that follows you with a camera for your whole life can pick a moment where they could be like,
Anything.
if they just decided what sections of your life to like put in a movie, they can make you out to be the worst fucking person. So, you know, like, you know, I think he took a really bad situation and did really good things. He learned a lot from that.
Oh, yeah.
It changed his life.
Yeah,
He
completely.
made a mistake and he learned from it. It changed his life completely. Like the irony, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not even gonna get into the details because I just get mad when people talk about it. But like,
I'll edit that shit.
yeah, just the irony of like who he became. You know what I mean? Like he's even last week, like he's known as the advocate for women's basketball and for women everywhere.
Soccer, women everywhere.
Women's sports.
Like, my mom was watching the news and they were talking about it, and that's the first thing she said. Like, she knows how big of fans we are, but she didn't mention basketball. She said, man, she died with her daughter and he was a great father.
That's for us. I think, okay, so we shut out to downtown LA, and then we shut out really early in the day. I think we got there like around like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the day. And we went to the memorial right there by the Staples Center where everybody was, you know, paying like their
Homage.
and everything to him. And I think it took us till the end of the night where, like I tell you, one of my boys was crying since like our whole drive there. And it took us a cool minute to catch up to us. And then after a while, I can tell you by the time we came back, we were there from like 2 to like midnight. And on our way back, you see all these like places with the candles and the pictures and everything, and people are like praying together. Like, even like, you know, you think about it, like it's crazy. Like, even in death, like he's bringing the whole city together, like everything. Like, you look at it's all love, you know. Like I was at LA Live and people were drinking and the cops were just like, hey man, you know, like it is what it is. Like, we understand this is the way people grieve. This is what it is. As long as everybody's cool, there's no problems.
Yeah.
You know, we're on our way out. And I think the thing that hit me and my boys the most, I was just like, you know, like, what a fucked up way to die. Like that. And it's such a fucking freak accident. It sucks. And it's just like, you know, and I looked at my boys and I got shook because I was just like, you know, I'm a dad. I looked at him and I was like, if there's any dude like that is proven to us that he can be so clutch in a time-sensitive situation as Kobe. So my boys are like looking at me like, you know, I felt so terrible. You know, how okay, fuck it, you're a man, you could die. You know, like fuck it.
We're all gonna die.
If it happens, it's gonna happen, and you know that's just the case. You're just gonna you're gonna take it. But to have your child there, dude, like I don't even know how to fucking like feel about that. But you know for a fact, at least in my heart, I feel at that moment that I know for a fact that dude was comforting his kid and doing everything he had to do to fucking
probably saying it was gonna be all right.
Yeah, it is what it is, and you know we don't know when death's gonna come for us. We don't know how many minutes or seconds we have in this world, but all we know is that we got to do the best we can that whatever footprint we leave in this world, we make this world better.
Yeah.
And that is definitely one dude that you know for a fact did that for everybody.
Yeah.
You know, my cousin, he came to visit from Chicago in like the 90s. And for the longest, he was just like, yo, I'm Chicago Bulls, you're LA. And we would get our ass whooped. And it would fucking suck. And I remember they had an all-star team and shit. And then, you know, Kobe comes in and everything. And I'm just like, you know, Jordan retires and everything. And then after a while, my joke to him every time we saw a family was just like, hey, Lakers, baby. Like, Lakers, like, what's up? And he was, you know, and I'm telling you, dude, it gave you reasons to, like hold your head up high, dude, to puff out your chest as a fucking Angelino and shit and be like, hey, man, like, we're here. Yeah. You know, we've always been looking for our own identity with our rappers, with our even, you know, our politicians, everything, anyone that represents the West Coast and stuff. And Kobe did that shit so well. Yeah. Like, you know, he made us, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
He was like LA. Whatever you think of LA, that was Kobe. Hardworking. Yeah. You want to grow. You want to be a champion. You want to reach the peak. You know, that was Kobe. And I remember when I was little, you know, my mom had family who lived close to downtown LA, like the MacArthur Park area. I remember we used to go down there like every other week. And this was when Staples Center was just Staples Center. It wasn't all the stuff around it. And you would see big billboards of Shaq and Kobe. And every time we would drive by it, it was just like magical. Yeah. It was like Staples Center, Lakers, Kobe, Shaq. It was just, as a kid, like, that's what made me fall in love with basketball.
Yeah, no, like with me, it was just like, you don't see representation of Latinos like in basketball, really. You know, it's not our sport. But to me, like, I grew so much respect for him when he started getting interviews in Spanish, like, and stuff, and talking about, like, you know, just, you know, the importance of the support the Latino community like gives, you know, to basketball, because LA is, you know, it's not.
LA is Latino.
It's Latino, so it's like
100%.
Yeah, but I heard a recent interview where when he said, like, when I was in shit, when I had just arrived in LA, like, it was the Hispanics who would come up to me and hug me, like, they probably like he wasn't nobody, he wasn't even playing, and they all embraced him and hugged him and treated him like a family member.
The crazy thing is, he didn't have to do any of this.
He didn't have to learn Spanish.
Nobody expected any of this of him. Like, you know, not even to be the best. Like,
I feel like that's what people don't understand why he's so great, because he didn't have to do all this. He doesn't have to talk to the young players and give them advice. You know, he doesn't have to, you know, stand up for women's basketball. Like, he doesn't have to do all that, but he still did it.
He grew up learning Spanish, though. He grew up learning, like, in Europe, you have to learn all these other different languages. So he grew up in Europe, and he knows how to speak Italian. He knows how to speak German. He knows how to speak Spanish, like, all this different stuff fluently, like, with no problem.
And I feel like that's why he got it so early, because he was an outsider when he was over there.
Right. So you had to learn it. You know?
He would say, like, all the kids playing football, soccer, like, they were all very good because that's their sport. Nobody would play basketball out there in Italy, so he would play goalie because he wasn't as good as the other kids, right? He was always the outsider kid who was good at basketball, but nobody cared about basketball.
You got to admire the respect he had for the game, too.
Definitely.
Because, like, you know, when he went out, when he's like, yo, I'm out, I can't do this anymore. Like, dude, that, you know, the amount of, like hurt, like, how much he must have, like, as much as we felt it, you know, how much he had to feel to, like, rip that, like, I would say skin off his body to just be like, I need to make myself, like, you know, like a snake, a mamba, you know, like,
that's
remove the skin
from mamba out, right? Like, that's it.
Skin's off. Let's build a new skin. Let's do this whole everything. And I think, you know, like I tell you, we talk about him not being able to write the second part of his book, but I look at everybody in LA and I'm just like, you know, I saw everybody there at the memorial. I saw everybody everywhere I look, and I'm just like, dude, like, we could write it. We could do that. We could show love and everything. I saw people, white people, Mexicans, Asians, Black people, everybody, dude,
60 years old,
like everybody, 3 years old, young, everything. I saw people hurting, like trying to, like, you know, make sense of everything, and I was just like, you know what, man, like, it's on us now. Like, you know, like, he took us this far. Let's finish this. Let's continue this story, you know.
you always hear you hear the phrase, you have to live your life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Right. And this man, like, he lived his life
Every
to
day.
the fullest. Like I said, with the whole helicopter thing, he wanted to maximize every single minute of the day. He lived his life to the fullest. He gave his all to
And
basketball
he didn't
when he
have
played.
to. Just going back
Right.
to the same thing. He didn't have to.
Right. He's just everything that he
people
did.
don't.
He's
Most
just like
people in the league don't.
he's just so ultra focused.
Yeah.
Right. Ultra focused. All he wanted to do when he was playing basketball was play basketball, was practice basketball, was get the shots up. He retired from basketball. All he wanted to do was be a good dad. But this man won an Oscar, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? He retired and he won a freaking Oscar.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, for putting together the short film.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, he's been playing basketball his entire life.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden he turned into a creative. You know, and
Yeah.
he was about to become like the best in the field.
Yeah, I think somebody told him like, "Hey, take it easy, rookie." Like
Right.
somebody from the industry
Wow.
making us all look
He
bad.
probably heard that all for a whole
Like
fucking year.
he started a production company. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, he was trying to be the next Walt Disney, bro.
Yeah,
That's sick.
yeah. Now to me, it's like
Yeah.
That's sick.
to me with his girls. To me, I'm a big believer. Like, you're not a complete as a man. Like, you're not a complete best version of yourself until you become a parent. I'm not a parent yet. You guys probably could
Yeah.
attest to this. But to me, it's like that's where like you're no longer, like fully selfish. Like you're looking out for somebody else, somebody that
Yeah.
depends on you, someone that depends on your unconditional love. And with his girls, I was like, man, I seen Kobe. I know like when you're in the grind, you can't smile as much. Like you're
Right.
grinding. When I see him with his girls, I was like, he looks so peaceful.
Mhm.
He looks so happy. Like he let go of like some pressure, and now he's just at peace in retirement with his kids, with his girls. And to me, like us men, we always like we say we don't care if we have a boy or girl, but we always like long for that
Yeah.
for that male, for that boy to carry on that legacy. He was always like defending them, like I got my girls. That's what I'm happy. Like they got my legacy. They'll take over, which is so heartbreaking because you see his daughter. She was gonna carry that. She had that same fire. You see those clips of him and her, how he smiles when he
Right.
looks at her. She had that same fire, and it's just heartbreaking because he's breaking these stereotypes of
Yeah.
of just the male. It's like, no, Mike, the girls could carry this torch too.
I'm not sure if you saw that clip on ESPN the other day. So there's a hashtag now called Girl Dad.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
That clip
Yeah.
on ESPN, where he basically told Elle Duncan, like she asked him, like, you gonna keep on trying to have kids? Like, don't you want a boy?
Yeah.
He was like, no, like I want to have 5 more girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love girls. Like, I'm a girl dad.
Yeah.
Like he loved his girls. Like he didn't
Yeah.
care about having, that next boy to carry on his legacy, man. Because his daughter, and I just found this out yesterday. Like, she just started playing basketball 2 years ago.
Damn.
Right. She's 13 years old right now, and basically, Gianna was considered like next.
Yeah.
Like she was gonna play in the WNBA.
I was excited
Yeah.
for that.
She was already doing
Yeah.
fadeaways. I'm
I
like,
was
She
excited
started,
Hey, the
just like him. Just she was a student of the game, and like he passed that on to her.
Yeah.
His first daughter really didn't love basketball that much. She
Yeah.
played volleyball,
And that's cool,
But then
that's
like it's
fine.
cool.
Yeah.
With the second one, like she just started playing 2 years ago.
yeah,
It's unbelievable for her to become so good in that
yeah.
short time.
Yeah. To me, like for a parent to show that much support, like you need to see that fire from your kid first. And I see this with my cousins and their dad. Like they have to have that hunger, that fire, that passion, that love.
Right.
They
They have to become who they are.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't push somebody
Yeah.
into something. They have to want it.
Yeah.
It's
You know,
crazy
it-
because my sister is expecting a child, and my girl was
Hey,
like,
uncle.
"Oh, yeah."
Congratulations.
Congratulations, yeah.
My girl was like, "Oh, what do you want it to be?" And of course, I said a guy, right?
Yeah.
A boy. I was like, "I want to play soccer with him, video
Yeah.
games, like all that good stuff." And she's like, "Well, you can do that with a girl too." And I'm like, like Kobe kind of changed my mentality, like watching him with his girls. I was like, that's actually pretty cool. Like, you're right, you can do that with a girl as well. And I remember when my sister was born, she was the first one. My dad said he wanted a boy. Like, he didn't want any girls. But then, he said that's the best thing that happened to him.
Yeah.
Have
I have
a
I have a son. My son's 9, and my daughter is 5. So for 4 years, the thing about having a boy for me has always been I'm a guy, so I know what to
Yeah.
expect. and I know what he knows to expect. So I'm just like, I know the curveballs life's gonna throw at you. I know the things, and I respect also where you said like you can't force anyone to be anything they're not.
They are who they are.
I play soccer. I've always liked sports. I like hanging out with the boys. My son's an artsy dude. He likes to draw. He likes to chill. He could sit there for hours and draw nonstop. I would never take that away from him. Like I told him, like, you tell me what you want to be, and whatever I can do to help you, that's what I'll do. Like if it's not my style, it's not my calling, whatever, I will find what you want, and I'll always have your back. I will always, if there's one thing children provide you is purpose. And with my son, it's always been like, man, whatever you want to do, I got that. Like I'm gonna give you that. I'm gonna back you up. And then cut to 4 years later, my daughter's born. And bro, like daddy's girls dude, that is crazy, man. Because that little girl is, I know she looks up to me because every moment I see her facial expressions, I see what she does, I know what she says. I've always wanted a boy. Like I was like, oh, me and my boys are gonna be at the games. We're gonna be doing this and everything. It changed up. But then my daughter is just like, my son's the type of dude. It's just he'll go and he'll do his own thing, and he's just like, Dad, I'll see you like in 5. Like I'll be back. I'm like, all right, cool. Like we're hanging out in the house and everything, but he's just like, dude, I'm gonna go draw. Like I'm gonna do my own thing. But my daughter's the kind of girl who's just like, hey, make room. I'm gonna sit right here, right next to you. What are we watching? I'm like, for real? Are you kidding me? And growing up, it was just like, it was so crazy. It was such a change in my body, and like this weird thing of just being overprotective and everything. And you would think it'd be like, oh, I don't want no guys around my girl or nothing like that. But growing up, it was just like, you know what? I looked at this girl and I was like, you're such a beautiful human being. I just want you to experience everything in the best way. So as a man, I'm gonna like step up my game. So whatever dude you choose to have in your life is going to be just as amazing, Like, I'm not going to be anywhere below that. Like, I got to set that line way high. So whatever dude comes in, I'm like, that's my girl. You taking my girl, man, you got to be above and beyond and everything.
Exactly.
And I look at Kobe with his daughter, and I'm just like, he's had it. He's had that shit and all that bullshit that's happened in the past. And I'm sure he looks at his daughters and he's like, you know what, dude? Like, you got to step up your game. Not just in the court or everything, but just in your life, personal stuff. You got to do all that. And like I tell you, man, this guy does so many things you could apply to every single aspect of life, and it's just crazy, man. Like that footprint he left on this world is just, like you say, MJ fills the shoe, right? MJ is the standard. Kobe had the talent, and dude, he tried to fill that shoe up. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got that close. And I look at all these NBA stars right nowadays, and I'm just like, you guys got all this God-given talent. You guys are amazing and everything. But are you really putting in all the work to fill in all that shoe?
Exactly.
Like that's why a lot of people look up to Kobe, because they're like, fuck, man, like I wish I had that stamina. I wish I had that drive. I wish I had that. And I'm like, dude, you guys can do something about that. Like step that up. Like not just NBA players, but everybody in this community, like all of us. Let's step this up, dude. Let's learn how to be good human beings again.
And he was a great human being, dude. Like 100%. Like he was a selfless person. Like he gave so much that like you're hearing all these different stories now about like how much he is giving, like the things that he contributed to, with like all the stuff that he was doing with the homeless in downtown LA, and him and his foundation donating millions of dollars to help build the African American Museum in Washington D.C. and just all these different things that he's doing, man. Especially like even a month ago, where he helped that victim of the car crash.
Yeah,
like that's amazing. Like he was exposing himself, like he didn't care. Like he's just driving in his community and he sees somebody in a car crash, and like he's not just gonna continue going about his business. Like he just stopped. Like, let me stop what I'm doing and let me go help that person.
Yeah.
That's like he didn't have to. Like he didn't have to. Like he's doing these things that he doesn't have to do.
Yeah.
Like nobody would think anything less of him if he didn't hop out and save that man.
To me, like the loyalty he showed LA is like unrivaled, especially in this era now where like if something seems better, like I'm gonna hop over there to get that ring. Like even when situations got really bad and where he almost, went
and he almost left, but he stayed. He stayed
through the bad
I feel like
years.
that was almost like a chess move. Like, y'all better bring players or I'm gonna leave. Like I'm pretty sure he didn't want to, but he wants to win.
I think as a community, the thing we have to do You know, a lot of people will probably tell you right now, be like, well, he's a millionaire. Like, he has money. He can do all that. I can't do that. And I always look at it, I'm like, man, you know what? I was a single dad, 2 kids, working 3 jobs. And I always busted my ass to be in better situations, you know? And I'm like, that's what you always got to do. You got to take advantage of every opportunity. You always got to take that shot. You always got to do the stuff. You always got to be the man that steps up to take that shot, to be in a better position to help out all your teammates. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be the best person you could be.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Just by you becoming the best person you could be, a positive presence, other people will look at you and like try to be positive as well. Like, you could easily affect the next person.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to be as accomplished as a Kobe Bryant. You know, he was the best person that he could be. Mm-hmm. And like, he gave it all. We all have to give life our all. Mm-hmm. We owe it to ourselves. You know what I mean? We can't cheat. We can't cheat the world by being anything less than our best self. Yeah. You know, and that's one thing I'm definitely going to strive to be. Like, I was already on that path, you know, like when I had my kids, you know, that makes you want to be a better person. But just like looking at somebody, like you said, a public figure their entire life, like, he continued to just, like, I'm in awe of like all the different things that he kept on doing. Like, he found the time to like just work on his game, work on his post career, you know, his post playing career, and doing this and that, you know, being a coach, starting foundation, just all the different things he was doing, man. He was just an amazing person. And I think that's what his legacy is just more than an athlete, like more than basketball. Like, he was just a great person, period. Like, he had, like you said, he had respect enough for different cultures where he would speak different languages. You know what I mean? Like, he was learning Chinese. You know, he's huge in China. And he just had respect for all the Spanish reporters, you know, to give interviews in Spanish, like, not just answer like one question. Yeah. You know what I mean? Giving like a full-length interview in Spanish. That's just amazing. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to do that.
Yeah. I feel like we talk about like doing the mistakes he's had in the past and everything, but I'm like, that's a perfect example of like, if you take your time to learn somebody, know where they're coming from, know what's happening, you give them time to like fix the issues, the problems, whatever's there, there's always, it gives you an opportunity to find a better person in all of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know, like, I mean, we all like to sleep the extra 15 minutes. We all like being a little bit late. We all like to like chill out and kick it a little bit more. But like, God, man, like, I don't know, dude. I'll tell you, there's one thing this guy taught me. I was just like, dude, look at what you're doing. You could do better. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got to strive for whatever is the next level. And honestly, that's the one thing you can't sleep on success. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you hear the stories of this guy training and practicing and everything he did. I'm just like, fuck, man, like, shit, dude, like,
get home at midnight after a game. He's waking up 4:00 in the morning.
For real,
just working.
Yeah. There's always that one other guy that thinks he's gonna train more than you, but Kobe's already there.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Right.
Crazy.
All right, we're almost an hour in, man. Just any last stories, messages that y'all want to send?
With me, it's probably like the first time like I got pushed into to the Lakers. Remember, I was like 6 years old, 5 or 6. My dad buys these 2 jackets. My dad doesn't know anything about basketball. He just knows like, I'm gonna get these 2 jackets. He gets the Chicago Bulls jacket, and he gets the Lakers one. And my brother, I have an older brother. He always gets whatever he wants first. He goes for the Chicago Bulls one. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm a Laker fan. I'm gonna get this purple and gold. Like, that was me.
Ugly ass colors. No, that's what you're thinking.
I was like, I guess. And I'm like, I always get pushed into like the underdog situation, like the last one. But you know what? Like, I'm so glad that he picked that one, and I got stuck with this one because of that. I started following this guy, this number 8, with the little fro. He taught me so much, like throughout my life. And like, I'm glad that I saw someone that's not like perfect, because I'm not perfect. He teaches you that you could be better, and you could be so amazing and impact so many people, you know, just doing the thing that you love. So, yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm going to second that, because I remember when I was going to start school, like, he came into the league 96. I was 4 years old. I remember like I don't know why we were looking at backpacks or something that I remember, and there was the Bulls one, there was the Lakers one, and my favorite color is red, so I'm like, of course I'll go for that Bulls one, but I'm like, LA, I'm like, fuck, like it's a tough choice, right? I ended up getting a Batman one, but
That was out of nowhere.
you know, yeah, that's just what I remember, you know, falling in love with the game, being excited to go to school the next day and talk with your friends about, you know, what Kobe did last night. I remember, you know, the kids wearing the Kobe shoes, you know, those ugly ass fucking space looking shoes. I used to wear 'em.
The shell ones.
But I always
Those
wanted
Adidas.
them because they had like the Froby on the back
Yeah.
with the fro. I was like, man, and that's one of the reasons why I buy his shoes now. And I remember having like his fake jerseys, those $10 ones that you buy in the corner. And my mom used to take us to play basketball at the park. And like I never saw myself trading a soccer ball for a basketball. But I did because it.
Like honestly, man, like what you're doing right now, man, is like I can't even do it, and I feel like in a way that like I think I need therapy. Like honestly, like one of these days, like it's just gonna hit me, and I'm just gonna lose it, you know. On Sunday when I heard the news, like I was just numb, and like people were calling me and texting me, and I was just angry. I was just angry at everybody, man. Like there's so many different thoughts that I have of him, you know. I can't even really break it down to one thing, you know, except like don't sleep on Kobe.
Yeah.
Like no matter what, like don't sleep on Kobe. His 81-point game. I miss most of that, you know, while I was asleep. Right? I tell the story all the time. When they were playing the Raptors, and like we were losing. Like the Lakers weren't a good team.
Yeah.
Then it was just Kobe, and like that's it. We're losing. Sitting there watching the game, getting high. I fell asleep. Then my roommate, like he was waking me up. I was like, man, like, why you bothering me, man? He was like, dog, Kobe got 60-something points. I was like, what? He was like, are you kidding me? He was like, yeah, man, like we winning. Like, dude got 60-something points, man. You might want to wake up and catch this. Like, walk downstairs, like he had like 65, 60. I was like, oh shit, like I fell asleep on this. Like I missed it. Like, don't sleep, man. It's just like don't sleep on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Figuratively and literally. Like,
Yeah.
don't sleep on them.
Yeah.
Like I don't have like I have so many different memories of like his different accomplishments. Well, like every time somebody brings up that 81-point game, like I don't have like that feeling inside me like, oh man, I remember where I was. Yeah, I was asleep. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen the game like over and over after that, but like I don't have like that same feeling because like I like to catch shit live. You know what I'm saying?
Game 7, 2010 against Celtics at Staples. It was my high school graduation. I couldn't care less about my graduation, but I had to go, and I missed Game 7.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think for me personally, the only thing I want to say is thank you to Kobe. He gave me a lot of reasons to hold my chest, to puff out my chest in front of people in conversations, rep LA. Every time that he played, the Lakers played and stuff like that, it gave me an opportunity to hang out with my boys and kick it and go to like bars and like, you know, like that was the thing for me. Like it was just like every season I knew we were in the playoffs. And that was a fucking amazing feeling because I'd go there and I'd see my friends and everything. And I was just like, you know what, dude? Like, these memories you gave to me during that age, it's just like, dude, they still stick with me today, you know? And I think that brought me and my friends way closer together than any other experience we could have had, you know? Because we all shared this one hero in common. And it was, you know, you play soccer, you got different teams. But and at least in basketball, it was always like, yo, Kobe, Lakers, like all the time. And it was fun, dude. And you know, my only like thing for people now is just like, you know, I can't, like that's very specific to us in our generation, you know. And I feel bad for the future because they're not gonna have that for a cool minute because this guy was special, man. It's not just like any other player, you know. I look at LeBron and I'm just like, man, dude, like bring it, bro. Like fucking bring it, dude. Like do this shit for this next generation, man. Like give these younger kids give my kid a reason to want to wear like that jersey and everything again, you know. Like give me a reason to go every weekend during the playoff with my boys and meet up and talk about our days and all that bullshit and everything, and then just be like able to give each other like that support. And you know, you talk about therapy and stuff like that and hanging out with your boys, like doing this, chilling in a podcast. Dude, this is the best therapy you get as a man, you know? Because a lot of times you're asked to come home and just be quiet and hold all that shit in and fucking deal with it because you're the man. And it's cool, but you know what? At the end of the fucking day, it's just, dude, mental health. Mm-hmm. And that's something I do attribute to Kobe. Like, thank you for that. Yeah. And thank you guys, dude. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me over. Like, this is amazing. Like, it's a very cathartic moment for me, you know, and it's awesome to see all of us, different age, different times, different everything, and then just like coming together and having, you know, once again, having that one thing in common. And it's just like, thank you, Kobe, again, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, man, he brought the city together. Just one last memory, man, is like, to me, was that 2009. It was that 2009 championship, right? Like, that's probably like my favorite championship run, was because he got his next title. He got his first title without Shaq. Mm-hmm. And like, he got his first title with the Lakers being his team. Yeah. And like,
and you knew he was going to get it. Nothing was going to stop him.
We were starving as Lakers fans. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were starving because like after Shaq bounced, like we were bad for some years, man. And we didn't have any good teams. Then the Celtics whooped our ass the year before.
Smush.
The Celtics whooped our ass the year before. Yeah. Like, we didn't get a chance at the Celtics right then and there. We got them the next year. But that 2009, like, after we just ran through Orlando Magic, I was out in the streets. Everybody was out in the streets. Like, we got to celebrate this shit again. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that was really the happiest that I've seen the city. Mm-hmm. You know, the first dynasty was cool. You know what I mean? But I think a lot of people took it for granted. Yeah. You know, just like right now, like how we feel like we're starving for a championship. We're starving to be good again in this championship run. But that 2009 year, that was my favorite season because I knew we were going to win the title. I knew it. And when we did, like, it was just a feeling of jubilation for the whole entire city. Everybody got out. Everybody was happy. Everybody was celebrating. The parade was lit.
Yeah. With me, like, yeah, something that sports do, they do bring people together from different status, races, like everything. You just forget about, you know, who you are, like in real life. You come together, like Chalo said, with your boys, drinking beers, like just hanging out, just soaking it all in. And he was the leader. He was the leader of the city. This is why the city like feels like so much pain right now, because our leader is gone. You know, the guy that like we look up to, like, he's gone. And that joy that he brought us, like, it's momentarily gone. And now we're looking for the. There's not gonna be another Kobe. There isn't. But yeah, you're looking for the next person to, you know, carry this torch.
We're definitely yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. We're definitely challenging LA right now. Like, Dodgers, Kings, somebody bring something to the house. You know, we got it there. LAFC, LA Galaxy. At this point, dude, it's all love. Like, we just gotta win something. Like, put this city back on the map.
Right.
Mm-hmm. From the moment. And I'm feeling a lot like if we feel like some type of way. Yeah, if we feel some type of way, like we never met him, or you had the pleasure to meet him, like the people that really, like his family, his close friends, like my prayers really do go out to them because they're really feeling like this, like fully. And so like I know like they feel like some comfort in knowing like all the love that he spread, like all the love that they're getting back, but they're really gonna go through like this tough time, and a lot of people are kind of like they're never gonna get over it, but like.
Definitely, we can't end this without saying prayers for Vanessa Bryant, his parents, the Altabellis, the Mausers, the Chesters, you know, all the victims of this. Like, you know, just prayers up for them. You know, I didn't know anything about them, but I still feel their loss the same way, man. And it's just like, we're talking about Kobe because that's what we're affected by. You know, thank you guys for having me on. I truly appreciate it, man.
So much more. Thank you guys for for being with us today. This is a very difficult
I played through the
episode.
sweat and the hurt.
Rest in peace, Kobe, and all the victims. Gianna, our prayers again to the Bryant family.
Not
to all the
because
families
Challenge
affected.
called me,
This is a tough one, for sure.
Kobe forever.
but because you called me. I did everything for you. Because that's what you do when someone makes you feel as alive as you've made me feel. You gave a 6-year-old boy his Laker dream. And I'll always love you for it. But I can't love you obsessively for much longer. This season is all I have left to give. My heart can take the pounding. My mind can handle the grind. But my body knows it's time to say goodbye. And that's okay. I'm ready to let you go.